Hello viewers and welcome to Naija Pikin. Do not forget to like, hit the subscribe button and also make good comments and also reasonable comments on how we can improve our video. Today we're going to continue the topic pancreas and insulin. From our previous videos I told you how insulin is being produced by the pancreas, specifically the beta cells, the islet of Langerhans, the beta cells that produces insulin, which are able to yank off the excess glucose as a result of hyperglycemia in the blood. So from this little illustration, I am going to tell you what this glucose does in other organs and how insulin is being able to regulate them and also use them to make different kind of substances that we need in the body. So I told you that beta cells that are found in the pancreas, beta cells produces insulin. They produce insulin, they produce insulin, which are able to reduce the blood sugar. And do not forget, I told you that normal blood sugar is between 80 to 120 milligram per DL. This is the standard, the normal blood sugar in the body. So what does insulin do when it's found, when it's being produced in the bloodstream? What does it do in some organs, some specific organs in the body? So this is what we're going to be talking about after the production. So if you've not watched the video, please go back and watch the video on pancreas and insulin, and you will see diagrammatic details on how insulin is being produced by the beta cell. So we now have let's represent, okay, let's use the red pen. Let's represent our blood stream, the blood vessel, excuse me. Let's represent our blood vessels this way. Okay. Let's represent our blood vessels this way. So I'm just going to put it in red, blood, since blood is red. Okay. I'm going to represent the liver this way. Okay. Please do not mind my diagram. Okay. Let's add some decorations to it so that it looks good. Okay, and let's see. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to represent these three different diagrams as our diagram. First diagram here is the liver. Our second diagram here is the muscle. And the third is my adipose tissue. So this is how I'm going to represent these three diagrams so that you know the function of insulin and how it regulates glucose in these three different organs. Okay, cool. So after the synaptoproteins that are found on the body of the beta cell and also its membrane fuses and allow insulin to come into the bloodstream, So I'm always going to represent insulin with, okay, insulin as I. So okay, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. So today is going to be an interesting video. You have a lot of key points, a lot of things to talk about, so that you can always answer your exams perfectly well and correctly. So now we have insulin in the bloodstream, and now let's see how insulin comes into the liver and what it does. Do not forget, the stimulus for the production of insulin is high blood sugar, high glucose, as a result of hyperglycemia. So on the body of a liver, we have this special receptor called GLUT2. That's glucose transporter type 2. Do not forget, I told you GLUT2 transporters or receptors are independent of insulin, so they do not need insulin to allow glucose to come into the cell or the system. So because it's a GLUT2 transporter, glucose is able to enter the liver without being independent of insulin. So insulin does not regulate the movement of this particular transporter or this receptor. So glucose comes in to the liver. So when glucose comes into the liver, this is what happened. You see this receptor here? You see this receptor? This is called tyrosine kinase receptor. I repeat, tyrosine kinase receptor. It has its own mechanism also, but we're not going to go down into this. I just want you to know that on the body of the liver, it has this receptor called tyrosine kinase receptor. So this is what insulin does. Insulin comes here and binds to this tyrosine kinase receptor. It binds to this tyrosine kinase receptor. When it binds to the tyrosine kinase receptor, it stimulates the tyrosine kinase receptor to synthesize an intermediate called PI3K and AKT. AKT is an enzyme that is produced from the stimulus that when insulin attaches itself to the tyrosine kinase receptor, it stimulates the production of this substance. AKT is a protein kinase B. AKT, another name for AKT is protein kinase B. This is the receptor which insulin binds to produce this particular intermediate, this particular substance. The function of this substance is to allow glucose that comes into the liver to be synthesized and becomes a product. And this is what will happen. Please pay attention and see the magic. It's so beautiful. Biochemistry is so beautiful. So let's go there so that you see. So a little recap. Insulin comes to the body of the liver, binds to tyrosine kinase receptors that is being synthesized through different modification of phosphorylation and produces this substance which is protein kinase B. So the function of this protein kinase B, please, your minds should be here. The function of this protein kinase B, let's make a bigger liver. So the glucose that comes in here, protein kinase B stimulates the glucose. Do not forget, it stimulates the glucose and the glucose starts to undergo a pathway called glycolysis. Do not forget, glucose is being broken down to pyruvate in the glycolytic pathway. Pyruvate. It stimulates this particular pathway. So because AKT is being stimulated, it synthesizes it makes glucose